I have to be honest with you right now. I'm currently walking this very thin line between mildly annoyed and just about to throw my laptop completely out the window.
Oh, no. That is a dangerous place to be.
Oh.
Please tell me this is about that high-end coffee maker you were so excited about last month.
It is. It is specifically about that coffee maker. I ordered it on Amazon like weeks ago,
Mm.
and the listing was so confident. It said ships in 48 hours.
Right.
So I thought, great, I'll be drinking my espresso by Friday. But it never showed up, and
Yeah.
now I'm trying to get a refund, and it just feels like I'm trapped in some weird Kafka novel.
Let me guess. You click the little I didn't receive it button. The bot says wait another day. So you wait, you go back, it sends you to a completely different menu, and eventually the chat just disconnects.
That is exactly what is happening every single time. It feels like the whole system is it's designed to wear me down until I let them keep my $40 because honestly, I value my sanity way more than the money at this point.
Yeah, and it feels that way because in the world of customer retention, friction is often a feature. It's not a bug.
Oh, wait, really? They do it on purpose?
Oh, absolutely. If they can make the refund process just annoying enough, a statistically significant percentage of people, just like you, will just give up. They literally count on that fatigue.
Well, it's working. I am incredibly fatigued.
But here's the good news, and honestly, the whole reason we're doing this deep dive today. That feeling you have right now of, I guess I just have to wait, or I'm at their mercy, that is factually, legally incorrect.
Okay, I like the sound of that.
You are currently entering a highly regulated legal space. You have significantly more power than that automated help bot is admitting to you.
Because right now, I feel like I have absolutely zero power. I'm just clicking buttons into a void.
We are going to change that
Yeah.
for you and for everyone listening. We're going to stop being frustrated shoppers and start being empowered consumers.
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
We're going to look at the actual federal laws. Specifically, there's something called the Mail, Internet, or Telephone Order Merchandise Rule.
Wow, that is a mouthful. Can we just call it the rule?
Yeah, we can definitely just call it the rule. But this rule, along with some pretty heavy-hitting federal credit protections, it basically hands you a complete playbook on how to force a refund.
So what exactly are we going to cover today?
We're going to walk through the 30-day rule. We'll talk about why you never, ever have to accept store credit for a missing package. And then we're going to get into the nuclear option, the chargeback.
I have heard the word chargeback whispered in dark corners of the internet, but I've never actually pulled the trigger. It feels, I don't know, it feels aggressive.
It is aggressive.
Right.
But sometimes you need to be aggressive. We'll get into the mechanics of why it works so well. But first, we also need to talk about the modern traps.
Like what?
Those buy now, pay later buttons everywhere. They are stripping away your consumer rights faster than you can click purchase.
Okay, let's unpack all of this. I want my money back, obviously, but more importantly, I want to know the rules of the game so I don't get stuck in this terrible bot loop ever again. Where do we even start?
We start with the initial promise. When you clicked buy on that coffee maker, you weren't just wishing for a product, you were entering into a contract.
Right. I gave them money, they've given me the thing.
Exactly. And the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, is very clear on this. The seller must have a reasonable basis to believe they can ship the product within the time they advertised.
So when the website says ships in 24 hours, that's not just marketing fluff.
Not at all. That is a legal claim.
Yeah.
And that phrase, reasonable basis, is actually a very strict standard.
What does that mean in practice?
It means they can't just guess. They can't just slap ships in 24 hours on a page if they don't actually have the inventory sitting in a warehouse.
Which happens all the time.
All the time. But legally, they need proof of anticipated demand, they need a supply chain that actually works, and a fulfillment system that isn't broken. If they take your order knowing full well they can't ship it on time, they are violating federal law.
Okay, but what if they don't give a time? You know those sketchy sites you see on social media ads? The ones that just say order now but don't actually give you a delivery date.
That is where the clock starts ticking automatically. If no shipping time is stated anywhere on the listing, the law sets a strict default, 30 days.
Just a flat 30 days.
Yep, they have 30 days to ship it, period.
So 30 days is a hard stop.
Hard stop. Now, there's one tiny exception. If you are applying for credit directly from the merchant to pay for the item, like, say you're signing up for a store credit card right at checkout, they get 50 days just to allow for the credit check process.
Okay, that makes sense.
But for a standard credit card or debit purchase, it is exactly 30 days.
Okay, so let's walk through my scenario. The clock runs out. My espresso maker is still missing. Usually this is when I get that generic, super cheerful email saying, whoops, running a bit late. Thanks so much for your patience. And I usually just sigh and archive it.
And that right there is exactly where you are losing the battle.
I am.
Yes,
Yeah.
because that email is not just a courtesy heads up. It is a legally mandated document. It's called a delay option notice.
A delay option notice.
Okay, they are legally required to communicate with you before the deadline passes.
Mhm.
And this is the critical part here. They must offer you a choice.
A choice, because usually it just feels like they're dictating what's happening. It's late, deal with it.
Exactly. They intentionally obscure the choice.
Yeah.
But legally, they must ask you, do you want to consent to this delay, or do you want to cancel right now for a full prompt refund?
They really hide that part.
They do. They cannot just say it's coming late. They have to get your explicit permission to keep your money past that legal deadline.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me. Because I get those delay emails all the time. But I'm busy, right? I usually just ignore them. Does ignoring the email mean I agree to wait?
This is what we call the silence trap. And the answer depends entirely on how long the delay is.
Yeah.
This is a crucial detail almost nobody knows, and merchants absolutely count on that ignorance.
Break the trap down for me. How does it work?
Okay, if the new shipping date they give you is within 30 days of the original deadline, so let's say they're running 2 weeks late, and you just don't reply, the law actually treats your silence as consent.
Wait, really?
Yes. By not replying, you have legally agreed to wait that extra 2 weeks.
Okay, so if I say nothing on a short delay, I'm waiting. They win that round.
Correct. But here's the flip side. If the delay is more than 30 days, or if they say the delay is indefinite, like, hey, supply chain issues, we don't know when it's coming, then the rule flips completely.
Flips how?
In that scenario, silence is treated as a rejection.
Wait, seriously, so silence equals a refund in that case?
Exactly. If they tell you it's going to be 2 months late, or we aren't sure, and you don't reply to that email, the law says they must automatically cancel the order and refund your money. They cannot interpret your silence as patience when the delay is massive.
That is huge. I've definitely had orders just sit in limbo for months and months because I forgot to reply to an email. Are you saying they were holding my money illegally?
Unless you explicitly wrote back and said, I am willing to wait indefinitely, then yes, they were breaking the law. They have to assume you want out if the delay is that substantial.
Okay, so let's say I'm done. I don't want to wait anymore. I want my money back. I hit cancel. A lot of times, especially with online clothing boutiques, I feel like they immediately try to give me a gift card or store credit.
Yes, the classic funny money tactic.
Exactly. They say, here's a credit for your next purchase, but I don't want a next purchase. You didn't give me the first purchase. Do I actually have to accept that?
Absolutely not. And I want to be very, very clear here for everyone listening, because this is a massive misconception. A refund, under the federal definition of the rule, means returning the tender in the exact form it was received.
So if I paid with my Visa, the money goes back to my Visa.
Correct. If you paid cash or check, you get cash or check. They cannot force you to accept store credit for their failure to fulfill a contract.
That feels so good to know.
In fact, the FTC settled a massive case not too long ago. It was about a $9.3 million penalty against a company specifically for doing exactly this.
Over $9 million, just for giving store credit.
Yep. They were effectively trapping customers' money inside their own ecosystem by issuing gift cards for merchandise they never shipped.
That is a serious penalty. It definitely sends a message.
It does. It tells merchants that breakage, that's the retail industry term for gift card value that just never gets used. Breakage cannot be used as a profit center for failed orders. You are never, ever required to accept store credit when a seller fails to ship.
That is just so empowering to hear. I can literally just say, no, federal law says put it back on my Visa.
Precisely. And they have to be fast about it, too. For third-party credit cards, like your Visa or MasterCard, they have to initiate that refund within 7 working days of the cancellation.
7 days? That's pretty quick.
7 working days, yes. Now, if it's the merchant's own credit card, like if you used a Macy's card at Macy's, they get 1 billing cycle.
Right.
But they definitely can't just sit on your money for months.
What about the shipping costs? Because sometimes they'll refund the price of the item, but they keep the $10 I paid for shipping. And that always feels like a total slap in the face.
If they didn't ship any of the order, they must refund the whole thing. The item, the shipping, handling, insurance, taxes, everything. You paid for a service, the delivery, that you simply didn't receive.
What if I ordered 3 things and they only shipped 2? Do I still get shipping back?
Then they can keep a proportional amount. If the shipping was based on weight, they have to refund the difference for the missing item. But if it was a flat fee, like shipping is $5 no matter what you buy, they usually don't have to refund that specific fee if they successfully ship something to you.
Okay, that makes sense. So we know the rules now. They have to ship on time, they have to ask permission to delay, and if I cancel, they have to give me real money, not funny money.
Right.
But let's play devil's advocate for a second. Let's say I quote the law, I demand my refund, and the merchant just ghosts me or flat out refuses.
Then we stop asking nicely. And we start taking, this is where we move to the nuclear option, the chargeback.
I really love the sound of that. It sounds like a professional wrestling move, the chargeback.
It's definitely a power move,
Hmm.
but we really need to define what it actually is because a lot of people misuse the term.
Okay, what's the difference?
A refund is the merchant willingly deciding to give you your money back. A chargeback is your bank forcibly reaching into the merchant's bank account and taking the money back on your behalf.
Oof, that does sound aggressive.
It is extremely aggressive, and merchants hate it. But they don't just hate it because they lose that one sale. They hate it because of something called the chargeback ratio.
What is a chargeback ratio?
Visa and MasterCard monitor every single merchant on their network. If a merchant gets too many chargebacks, if their ratio of disputes to overall sales gets too high, usually anything over 1%, they get labeled as high risk.
Kind of like a bad credit score for a store?
Actually worse, if they cross a certain threshold, the card networks will jack up their processing fees dramatically. And if it gets really bad, they might even ban them from accepting credit cards altogether. For an online business, being banned by Visa is literally a death sentence.
Wow. So when I threaten a chargeback, I'm not just threatening to take back my $40, I'm threatening their entire reputation with the credit card networks.
Exactly. That is why the mere threat of a chargeback is often your absolute best negotiation tool. If you are stuck in customer service hell and you calmly type into the chat, "I am going to file a dispute with my bank for non-delivery under the Fair Credit Billing Act," you will usually see that refund processed very, very quickly. They do not want that strike against their ratio.
But if they call my bluff and I actually do pull the trigger on a chargeback, is it instant? Do I get my money right away?
No. And this is where you really have to manage your expectations. A refund takes a few days. A chargeback is a formal legal process that can take months.
Months. Really?
Yeah, it works kind of like a mini court case.
Yeah.
Day one, you file the dispute with your bank. Your bank might give you a provisional credit. It's basically a temporary loan, so your checking account isn't completely empty while they investigate.
Okay, that's helpful at least.
But then the merchant has a window, usually 20 to 45 days, to fight back. This stage is called representment.
They can actually fight it, even if I didn't get the item.
Oh, yes. They can send in tracking numbers, emails, logs of you agreeing to terms of service. They try to prove to the bank that they did fulfill the order. If the bank sides with them, they take that provisional credit right back out of your account.
So it's definitely not a magic I win button.
No, it's not. And you need to be extremely careful of the double refund trap.
What is that?
It's what happens when a consumer gets impatient. You ask the merchant for a refund, the merchant says, "Okay, we're processing it," but a couple of days go by and it hasn't shown up yet. So you panic and you call your bank to file a chargeback too.
I can totally see myself doing that. You just want to make sure you get paid one way or another.
Don't do it. It creates a massive mess. If the merchant has already initiated the refund in their system and then you hit them with a chargeback on top of it, the banking system goes completely haywire. You might end up getting credited twice temporarily, which the bank will eventually catch and claw back from you. Or the merchant might fight the chargeback and win because they have proof they did issue a refund. And now your profile at your bank is flagged for filing a false dispute. It's just a headache.
Got it. So I'll always check if the refund is officially pending before calling the bank.
Always. Give the refund a few days to clear first.
Now, you mentioned earlier that this chargeback superpower really depends on how I paid in the first place. I assume cash is just the worst option.
Your cash is gone. If you hand over cash, it's basically untraceable. But in the online shopping world, there's a clear hierarchy of protection. And at the very top, the absolute gold standard is the credit card.
But why is a credit card better than a debit card? Isn't it all just plastic passing through the same machine?
It's not about the plastic. It's about whose money is actually at stake. When you use a debit card, that is your money. It is instantly deducted from your personal checking account. If there's fraud or non-delivery, you are fighting to get your own liquid cash back.
And with a credit card.
You are spending the bank's money. You haven't paid the credit card bill yet. Under Regulation Z, which is part of the Truth in Lending Act, you have a legal right to dispute charges for quality of goods or non-delivery. You can essentially tell your bank, hey, I'm not paying you for this portion of my bill because the merchant didn't deliver the product.
And suddenly the bank cares a lot more.
Exactly. Because now it's their money missing. The bank has a vested interest in fighting that battle for you to get their funds back from the merchant.
And debit cards don't have that same rule.
Debit cards fall under a different law. Regulation E, it's okay. But remember, with debit, your money is already gone. You're out the cash while they investigate. Plus, the liability rules are much worse.
How much worse?
If someone steals your debit card info and you don't report the fraud quickly enough, you could be liable for $500 or even your entire account balance in a worst-case scenario. With credit cards, federal law explicitly caps your maximum liability at just $50, no matter what.
Wow. Okay, so credit is way safer, and I'm guessing those prepaid gift cards are just at the bottom of the barrel.
The absolute bottom. Zero federal protections. If you buy a laptop with a prepaid Visa or a store gift card and it never shows up, you're essentially relying entirely on the kindness of the merchant. There is no bank to go to bat for you.
Which brings us to the new kids on the block. The buy now, pay later apps. Affirm, Klarna, Afterpay. They are literally everywhere now. And I use them sometimes because, honestly, it just feels easier than finding my wallet and typing in my card number.
It is easier.
Yeah.
And that convenience is exactly the danger. These services often fall into a massive legal gray area. Because of how they are structured, they aren't always classified as credit cards under federal law, which means they might not be legally required to offer you the same dispute resolution procedures.
But wait, if I buy a jacket with Klarna and then I return it, I just stop paying the loan, right?
You would think so. But Consumer Reports actually calls this the zombie loan.
The zombie loan. That sounds terrifying.
It is a total nightmare scenario. Let's say you buy that jacket using a buy now, pay later service. It arrives, you hate it, you return it to the merchant. But the merchant is slow. They take 3 weeks to process the return in their warehouse. Meanwhile, your next buy now, pay later installment payment is due.
Do I still have to pay it, even though I sent the jacket back?
Often, yes. You have to understand, you have two completely separate relationships here. You have a loan agreement with the buy now, pay later company and a separate purchase agreement with the merchant.
Oh, I see.
If you start making your payments to the lender while you're waiting for the merchant to process the return, you can get hit with late fees. And worse, they could report you to the credit bureaus and tank your credit score.
So I literally have to keep paying for something I don't even have anymore, just to protect my credit.
Exactly. Until the merchant finally communicates to the lender that the return is final, you are on the hook. It's a war on two fronts. You have to fight the merchant to accept the return, and you have to fight the lender to pause the payments.
That sounds exhausting. Does this happen a lot?
Consumer Reports found that roughly 5% of all buy later users had difficulty getting refunds.
5% doesn't sound too crazy.
It sounds low until you realize millions and millions of people use these apps every day. 5% means hundreds of thousands of people are getting stuck in this exact zombie loan loop, paying unexpected late fees because of a merchant's delay.
And if I had just used a regular credit card, I could just click dispute and the bank freezes the charge immediately.
Exactly. With a credit card, the moment you dispute it, you do not have to pay that portion of your bill while it's being investigated. With buy now, pay later, that money is often still auto-drafting out of your checking account, or you risk default.
So the takeaway here is if I'm buying something even remotely risky like from a site I don't totally trust, or something really expensive like electronics, I should just stick to a standard credit card.
100%. Use the tool that gives you the thickest armor. Buy now, pay later is very convenient, but it basically strips your legal armor away.
This has been, honestly, this has been incredibly actionable. I feel like we need to quickly recap a checklist before I go back and face that Amazon bot.
Let's make a battle plan.
All right, step 1.
Know the 30-day rule. If they miss that shipping deadline and they haven't gotten your explicit consent to delay, they are actively breaking federal law.
Step 2.
Demand a refund back to your original payment method. Do not let them pay you off with store credit or a gift card. You are not a bank. You do not have to hold their proprietary currency.
Step 3.
Use the threat of the chargeback to get their attention. Specifically mention the Fair Credit Billing app in your email or chat. But remember, only actually pull the trigger on a dispute if they flat out refuse to help you.
And step 4.
Pay with a real credit card whenever humanly possible. Keep your armor on.
I love it. I feel like I can actually go handle this coffee maker situation right now. I'm just going to type in the chat. Excuse me, according to the FTC mail or telephone order merchandise
Let
rule.
me tell you, that specific phrase usually gets a real human on the line pretty fast. Trust me.
Seriously, though, thank you for breaking all of this down. It's wild how much protection we actually have under the law, but we just don't know about it.
And that is exactly the thing. The law is written to protect the buyer, but it entirely relies on you actually knowing your rights. If a merchant is giving you the runaround, they are banking on your ignorance. They're banking on you giving up.
Well, we aren't giving up, not today.
Exactly.
Before we wrap up, is there one last thing we should be thinking about as consumers?
I want to leave you with this thought. We are rapidly moving toward a world of frictionless payments. One-click buying, double tap to pay, facial recognition at checkout, buy now, pay later. Getting easier and easier to spend our money. But notice that as spending gets faster, the protections are getting significantly more complex and fragmented.
We're trading our safety for speed.
We are. And we really need to ask ourselves, is saving 10 seconds at checkout really worth losing the ability to get our money back when things inevitably go wrong? Sometimes a little bit of friction is actually a good thing.
That is definitely something to think about the next time I'm hovering over that quick buy button. Thank you so much for this. And to everyone listening out there, go check on those pending refunds. You can do this. Don't let them keep your money.
It's your money. Go get it.
See you in the next deep dive.